City Council meeting, Tuesday, April 16th, 2024. Mr. Jeffries, please take the roll.
Councilor Hadrava is absent. Councilor Keeley?
Here.
Councilor Loeffler?
Here.
Councilor Towner?
Here.
Mayor Carter?
Here.
We do have a quorum, we may conduct business.
Thank you, sir. I ask everybody stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. Mr. Jeffries, do we have any changes to the agenda as presented?
Mayor Carter, we do have one change. As a result of some conversations this morning, I'm going to pass out to you a letter. We propose the mayor sign to be sent to the chair of the Minnesota Senate House Tax Committee, the chair of the Minnesota House of Representatives House Tax Committee, the chair of the House Property Tax Division Committee, and Senator Grant Houschild. The letter reflects the letter reflects thanking those individuals at the state legislature for their consideration of Buell. Buell is on the mark for $500,000 in money from the tax bill at the state legislature this year for infrastructure funding. And this is just reflecting, thank you for thinking of us. And City Attorney Carney and I both believe that it's more appropriate to make this a council action. And we would ask that this be taken up under item 8.1, under the business. It would be item 8A1. And this would just be to approve or not approve the distribution of the letter that you have with you. Okay?
And this funding you spoke of, Mr. Jeffries, this comes very recently, information on that?
Information I received on this was as of Monday afternoon. Yeah, just yesterday.
Thank you.
It's not a done deal. But
This bill is being proposed.
yeah, there's a hearing on this bill on Thursday, and it would be good if the committee would have this in front of them by then. At least, it's basically just saying Buell's on board and supports it.
Excellent. Any other changes to the agenda?
No, sir.
Thank you, sir. Council, any discussion on the agenda? Oh, I didn't ask for a motion. Apologies. Long day. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I'll motion.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Now, council. Anything further on the agenda as presented?
Looks good.
Excellent. All right, with nothing further, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Agenda is approved. Reports from department heads.
Thank you. I think this evening, the only report will come from myself. So, under the administrator's report, I have some items to mention this evening. First off, since we last met on April 2nd, we've learned that federal funding has been approved for the City of Buell in the amount of $3.048 million for infrastructure funding. This will require a 25% match at some point, or roughly $750,000, which can be made from other funding that we may or may not, we may receive. So it's passed the US Senate, it's passed and been signed by the President, and we are approved to be awarded 3.048 upon our application to USDA rural water.
It has been signed by the president?
It is, I got an award announcement this morning.
Congratulations, Buell.
Wait.
Excellent.
Secondly, starting tomorrow, Bonnie Sturl of Sturl and Company, the city's auditor, Bonnie will be on site for the municipal audit for 2023 for the field work. She'll be here for approximately a week. Right now, April 17th through the 26th. And the invitation for anybody to stop in and say hi and talk with her for a while. She's here pretty much all day. And
She's a wonderful person to talk to. She really is.
so please, if you have some time, drop in, say hi, and chat with Bonnie a bit. The next item has to do with what we've been talking about a couple of times, and that's the restoration of the item of paving Clinks Way with a wear course of asphalt in this year's construction work. And the anticipated amount that particular portion of the project will cost is $6,700 for that block of paving. A pretty good price, I think. This will be added as a change order, and that and the remainder of the project activities right now are scheduled for completion by June 15th. That's Woodbridge, Seville, the Damien addition work, so everything by June 15th,
Completion date?
completion.
Well, June 15th. Mr. Jamnick's not with us today.
No, but I did speak with him on that matter.
Okay. So June 15th, we can expect all of what's left of the road work to be completed.
The prime contractor has been in conversation with the city engineer and indicated June 15th. And
Excellent.
allegedly, the prime contractor, Joel and Sop, has been in contact with their subs, the Knife Lake, the curb and gutter people and the other folks, and they've all indicated an okay at this point with that, June 15th. My next item has to do with downtown. B2 Bank and their executive management of the local area here has indicated they are now preparing a lease for the former First National Bank of Buell building on the corner of downtown here. They're preparing a lease in the amount of $1 a year for the city to utilize that facility, and made it seem it would not take too long. I'm hopeful, possibly by next meeting, and if not by next meeting, I'll follow back around again, see where it's going. But that's the direction that they have indicated they'll take.
Excellent.
The next item has to do with the League of Minnesota Cities Insurance Trust, LMCIT, the loss control workshops, which I attended in Virginia a week or so ago. And they were quite good, very informative. And again, the intent is to keep municipalities abreast of potential risks out there and to have programming in place to try to mitigate or minimize those risks. So it was a well-spent amount of time, in my opinion, from the insurance trust's point of view. And then the last thing I guess I want to say under my report is to remind everybody that for the LBAE meeting, Local Board of Appeal and Equalization, slated for April 23rd, that if you desire an in-person assessment of your property, please contact City Hall or the Hibbing office of the St. Louis County Assessor. It would be good if you contacted City Hall. We would then know who would have requested in-person assessments. And those are my comments for tonight.
Thank you, sir. That is some great news. Just on that lease, possible lease agreement, I'm just curious if there's discussion of making improvements or modifications to the interior of that place? Has there been discussion on that at all?
At this point, there's been absolutely no specifics discussed. However, they are fully aware of the intent,
Okay,
and there have been B2 Bank personnel that have toured the building with us and with Councilor Loeffler and members of the Youth Center Committee and team, the project team. And so they're quite familiar with the long-term path is for the use of it.
Okay. Just figured I would ask. All right. Thank you, sir. Let's move on to Citizens Forum. Anybody wish to speak?
Mayor Carter, no one has signed up this evening.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to the consent agenda, the minutes from the regular city council meeting, April 2nd, 2024. Claims, payroll number 7, in the amount of $15,112.27. Accounts payable in the amount of $127,511.84, for a total of $142,624.11. We have a, is that
What
correct?
number?
142,000.
You said 124.
Apologies.
142.
For a total of $142,624.11. Got it right that time? Alright, do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion, questions, comments, council? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Consent agenda is approved. Alright, on to business. Item A, we have a presentation from Community and Economic Development Associates, CEDA, on child care facility grant initiatives. Community and Economic Development Associates recently awarded Buell with a Rural Capacity Program grant to assist in exploring siting, sorry, long day, I apologize everybody, siting a child care facility in the community. CEDA works with cities, counties, organizations, and small businesses to help them be proactive and strategic about their development aspirations. CEDA's Rural Capacity Program includes initiatives with potential grant funds available for eligible projects related to several economic development areas. I'm terrible with names, I apologize. Joshua Schwetz?
Schutz.
Ah, thank you, sir. Community and Business Development Specialist with CEDA has been named as point of contact and CEDA representative working with the city regarding this initiative. Joshua has traveled to Buell and is in attendance. He will also share his initial impressions of the city and this project and any insight he may see moving this initiative forward. All right. Joshua, welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council, for letting me appear before you this evening. I'm Joshua Schutz. I am with Community and Economic Development Associates, CEDA, and you described it very beautifully, what we do in helping communities be proactive about different economic development initiatives, childcare being one of them. It's actually one of the probably the main big ticket items we see in our communities throughout Minnesota and elsewhere. So the Rural Capacity Program, through which you've been awarded a total of $15,000 in funding toward this project, as well as 150 hours of technical assistance, which I'll be delivering to you. It's really a great opportunity to work on this initiative, and I do think Buell would be a good location for a child care facility based on its proximity to Hibbing and Virginia, as well as for its own population. This is actually my first time up north, and it is absolutely beautiful here. So you have a beautiful, wonderful community, and it's been really awesome to get to tour it with Mr. Jeffries, which I was able to do today, and meet some different community members and stakeholders. So moving forward, drawing data from different government sources, as well as through some of my own impressions and photographs taken and information received from the city, I will be putting together a first impressions report for you. That report will really just include some demographic and general economic development data, which can be used for this project, but it is yours to use in whatever way you wish. It will be given to you, and you may do with it what you please. So if it would in any way assist you in other initiatives, whether those be housing or what have you, we'd be, of course, it'll be yours.
Excellent.
So we have visited a number of different businesses as well as some different potential sites. We are hoping to continue some of those conversations in future weeks, months, and so on and so forth. And yeah, our next steps with that will likely be scheduling some follow-up meetings and then looking into seeing which ones would be the most feasible and then determining if a feasibility study would be needed. So kind of trying to take things step by step.
Wonderful. Childcare is a huge thing, and there's a huge lack of it. I mean, that'd be an awesome thing for our community. I know our household would appreciate it, and with all the young families in the area, Buell's kind of growing in that demographic. From what I've seen, there's a lot of young families around, and I mean, everybody could use that. Yeah.
And the beautiful thing about having that facility is that it'll also attract people to your community. Someone will stop in Buell to drop off their children in childcare. They may patronize a local business as well. Mm-hmm. As you guys add more businesses, they will patronize those. They may say, that I'm tired of commuting this far. There's a house for sale here. This is a nice town. My children go to daycare here. Maybe I'll make the decision to move to Buell. Mm-hmm. So it can really serve as a way to recruit residents and workers and businesses as well.
Great.
Yes, definitely.
Mayor Carter, may I?
Yes, sir.
Mayor, councilors, I spent most of the day with Joshua today, and I just want to say it was an extremely fulfilling day. I think we covered an awful lot of ground, and I am quite excited about not only the possibilities for this initiative, but the outside chance that we may be able to talk deeper, further in the future. And I appreciate everybody that we went to visit in town, to introduce Joshua, to introduce the project. There were several places we went and several folks we talked with, and I want to thank everyone for their opening their arms to Joshua and their affirmative response to the project. So I look forward to this. I think it's going to be a great partnership, and maybe it's one that can continue even further than this first stuff.
With your permission, I would like to leave some business cards, both for you as members of the council and mayor, and also for any members of the public who would like to get in contact with me. My cell phone number and email are the easiest ways to do so. So if I may just lay my cards out here.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. And Joshua, on behalf of the city, we thank you for coming up and taking the time to be with us. We look forward to meeting with you. And thank you also for coming and making this connection with the council.
Yes, and I would also like to thank the council and the city of Buell, Mr. Jeffries, as well as its residents and the mayor for the welcoming that I've received in this community. You have a wonderful community with many wonderful people, and it was really great to get to visit with them and see the work they're doing to make their community the good place to live that it is and to improve it. So thank you very much for that opportunity.
Yes, thank you. And if you need anything, just reach out. We're here.
And
We're
you
available.
likewise, please. As I said, call me anytime.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too. Excellent. There's definitely a huge lack of childcare all over
That's
everywhere.
fantastic.
It is.
Yeah, and it's just like, are we looking at something like starting from the ground up? Or are we looking at something that we might have out there, or I guess both?
Both. We actually spent quite a bit of time looking at every conceivable alternative and model that we could think of. And then after we familiarized Mr. Schutz with our community, a few things kind of pulled out. And so both and more. As further conversation happens, as further study and assessment by Mr. Schutz occurs, he's looking at demographics, et cetera, et cetera. There are, I'm not going to rain on his parade and say
Right.
things we've looked at, but I'm really quite excited. We may have the opportunity for some unexpected good partnerships in pursuing this. And if that were to happen, I I'm feeling quite confident that Buell could look pretty good in the whole thing and provide a much-needed service to our greater region as well as our community. So everything is on the table, Councilor Keeley.
Okay, thanks.
Step in the right direction. I know, even just to be able to serve our small little community here and have childcare. People are struggling with that.
Definitely needed.
All right. Moving on to A1. This is our letter to representatives. Are we taking council action, having a motion to approve? Okay. All right.
Authorizing the mayor to execute the letter and forward it to the parties so named.
Okay. As we discussed, council, the letter have you had time enough to review? Okay. Do we have a motion to approve, myself as the mayor signing off on this and getting it out to our representatives and senators?
A motion.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Anything further? Any questions on the tax bill? I suppose it's so, we don't really have too much information on it at this time.
Again, the specifics have indicated $500,000 to be awarded to the city of Buell for infrastructure improvements.
I guess if anybody wants to look it up, we could say what bill numbers they are. That sounds all right.
Yeah.
HF.
House File 5198, as well as SF, which I would assume means Senate File, correct? Senate File 5435, and they should be available on the state's site. And for, if they're watching the video, thank you, Mr. Lislagard, Mr. Hochschild, as well as the chairs. Least we can do is send a letter of thanks. All right, anything further, council? Have a motion and a second, correct?
Yes, you do.
All right, with nothing further, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you, everybody. All right, moving on to item B, consider endorsing the State of Minnesota constitutional amendment to continue funding natural resources. Mr. Jeffries, would you like to take this one?
Thank you, Mayor Carter. The State of Minnesota Environment and Natural Resources Trust Fund, ENRTF, was established following voter approval of a constitution amendment in the state in 1988. The money in the trust fund is generated by the Minnesota State Lottery. The trust fund holds assets that can be appropriated, quote, for the public purpose of protection, conservation, preservation, and enhancement of the state's air, water, land, fish, wildlife, and other natural resources. End quote. Over 30 years ago, 77% of Minnesota voters were in favor of using a portion of state lottery proceeds to build the NTRF. Since 1991, the fund has provided approximately $1.027 billion to over 1,601 projects around the state. This November, in November, Minnesotans will have the opportunity to vote to continue this policy for another 25 years, keeping state lottery funds at work supporting clean lakes, healthy forests, and outdoor recreation. Without passage of the constitutional amendment that has been placed on the 24 ballot, the ENRTF is in jeopardy of losing its only source of income. So staff recommendation is to continue to support funding of the ENRTF from Minnesota State Lottery proceeds. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a motion to, do we have a motion to continue to support funding the State of Minnesota Environment and Natural Resources Trust Fund, ENRTF, by dedicating a portion of Minnesota State Lottery proceeds towards the ENRTF, and to endorse the efforts of the Conservation Minnesota Voter Center to reauthorize the lottery dedication to the ENRTF.
I'll motion.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Apologies if I'm a little off today, guys. Long day.
You got a lot to read.
I am not in favor of gambling whatsoever, and it affects a lot of people in a negative way. But if it's going to be there, why not use it for our water, our forests, all of that? And to be able to protect it. Mr. Jeffries, do you have any information on the ENRTF at all? On anything just off the top of your head? Other,
Well, they're an organization which it's kind of like a watchdog. They're kind of like an environmental watchdog.
okay,
And they take, they take positions on certain matters, some for, some against. And on
gotcha.
other matters, they're silent. This is one that they have chosen to come forward and say, please consider showing your support so that we get another 25 years of taking some of those gaming proceeds and putting them to environmental work.
I think I've also seen on the website they do a lot of local grants for small communities and stuff to help them with similar topics.
So, yeah, you are correct, Councilor Towner, and just to go a little bit further, the Conservation Minnesota Voter Center, some of their work is to build support for what they believe are progressive and proactive and good movements in state policy making. And this is one that they have specifically identified to bring forward. They are not political, they do not and will not advocate for or against any candidate. They will only speak on the topic content of issues coming forward.
Excellent. We don't need politics in our outdoors. Alright, council. We have a motion and a second. Anything further? If nothing more, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you, everybody. Moving on to item C. Reminder, St. Louis County Local Board of Appeal and Equalization meeting on April 23rd, 2024. Buell's new property valuations for the 2024 assessment, taxes payable 2025, have now been received from St. Louis County Assessor's Office. Attached, we have the sales book for Buell, which provides valuable background information on assessment specifics. The sales book contains information on residential and land sales in Buell from October 22nd through October 2022 through September 2023. The sales book is now available to the public and can be found on the city website. This also serves as a reminder that St. Louis County has scheduled Buell's LBAE meeting for Tuesday, April 23rd, beginning at 10 a.m. at the Buell Kinney Senior Center. The City Local Board of Appeal and Equalization will hold an open book session jointly with representatives from the St. Louis County Assessor's Office, April 23rd, 2024, beginning at 10 a.m. at the Buell Senior Center, located at 302 France Street. Property owners may discuss or appeal their value and or classification at this open book session. The board will vote on any changes recommended to valuations and or classifications. Property owners are allowed to appeal or question their classification and or valuation for a prescribed period of time, but not after the county LBAE meeting. Letters of appeal should be sent to the city clerk at least by April 19th, 2024. Additional information from the St. Louis County Assessor's Office regarding this process is also attached for general information.
Mayor Carter, I could give a couple of statements that summarize what they found.
Yes, sir, please, if you would.
This year, there were 11 sales in the city, which are considered arm's length sales, which is what they use for looking at these yearly assessment and valuation changes. There's a law that the state has on the books that establishes a median ratio, which is the estimated market value divided by the sales price. And every jurisdiction is required to stay within a range of 90% to a 105%. Estimated market value over sales price. So we had heard recently at the last meeting that there may have been a blanket adjustment to the city. Based on the sales study, the county did apply a 6% increase across all land and building values in the entire city. After all that happened, the median ratio is 95.1%. So it's 1/3 on the lower end, 1/3 up from the 90 to 105% window that the state allows. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I sure wish they'd get these out sooner, but. Sorry, I'm taking up the whole thing.
No, it's all right. He doesn't have space. Can we make the sales book and possibly even this letter from St. Louis County right after the sales book? Can we make that available on the website so it's easier?
Sales book is on there.
Sorry.
Counselor Thomas, the sales book is on there.
Sorry.
The letters and such are not, I don't think. I'd have to double check.
Yeah, because I like the things they cover in the letter, just reminding people about, you know, how the process works and how they come to their conclusions.
I can check and then we could add to the content on the website tomorrow if it's not there now. I'm sorry, I can't recall exactly how many pages are on there.
That's okay, I didn't even know the book was up, so.
So that's, it was just a flat blanket 6% increase.
In general, yes, if there had been any additional modification, those modifications would be due to new construction, demolition, and owner request for review, and any continuing construction that was there last year.
All right, we got the book prior to the meeting. That didn't go that way last year, correct? All right. Now if they could get it a little sooner, it'd be better. Excellent. So, the LBAE meeting, April 23rd at 10 a.m. at the Senior Center. Looking forward to that.
Did they do that last year, the kind of like the blanket?
No, it was,
No.
they sectioned it off and they did,
For sale of a home.
yeah,
Sale of home adds to it though.
yeah, how they broke it up in the
So you
map.
get a double whammy, like I got a double whammy. I got a triple whammy.
So for home is
Triple.
not right here.
No,
All
because
of
I
these
pulled
houses in
permits,
this color are
I
rejected.
got a hit,
Yep.
Okay.
people down the block got sold.
Alright.
All right. Anything further? Moving on. Thank you, everybody. Item D, Minnesota Department of Transportation, 2024 construction projects, effects on Buell of Cross Range Expressway improvements. Mr. Jeffries?
Thank you, Mayor Carter. First of all, as an introduction, I believe going forward, the reference to Cross-Range Expressway may change, and the reference to Cross-Range Expressway will be dealing with work between Pengilly and Marble, or thereabouts. However, it doesn't really matter for now, but the Minnesota Department of Transportation, MnDOT, has now announced its 2024 state construction projects. Among those projects is the resurfacing Highway 169 between Chisholm and Mountain Iron, and improving intersections with signal and light replacements and pedestrian access. This is anticipated to result in some changes and disruptions in traffic flows and patterns throughout the summer. So this project will affect traffic through and around Buell. Specifically, lane closures and connecting road detours are anticipated at a minimum. It will be a cold in-place recycle and bituminous mill and overlay project. They will go down and scarify or grind off the top layer of the highway and come back behind it and replace that top layer. This will improve the ride, increase the service life of the pavement, and assist with this, especially with the intersections, will assist in complying with ADA requirements for this portion of the highway. The schedule is set for May through October 24. This work is not related to the more involved work which is anticipated in 25 and 26, and possibly into 2027. That work will in part possibly include some roundabouts installed in Chisholm and Mountain Iron, as well as whatever MnDOT will do with the corridor. And that second part of the project will also impact Buell, and maybe to the degree where we might be considering putting some piping under the highway and getting some different access to the highway. So that's not part of this. This is just going to do the repaving between Chisholm and Mountain Iron. So everybody should please be aware of this summer-long project and be reminded to exercise caution and safety at all times when traveling on the Highway 169. Anybody interested, a public meeting has been scheduled for Tuesday, May 7th at 5:00 p.m. at the MnDOT Virginia Headquarters building located at 101 North Hoover Road in Virginia. That is where the driver's license testing station has been for many years. It's when you get to the end of 169, take a left at the end and head north on Hoover Road, and it'll be on your left side about 3/8 of a mile down. So that's Tuesday, May 7th at 5 p.m. for a public meeting, which will have both information as well as time for questions. Anybody that might be interested in attending. That's all I have, Mayor Carter.
Thank you, sir. So that's gonna be fun all summer long. It will be nice. That road's getting terrible, and dangerous too. I don't know if anybody rides motorcycles, but there's some cracks in that road that seem to be of concern. Mr. Jeffries, in regards to future projects there, if there was infrastructure work to be going under that highway,
Connection of the water and sewer to the Buell business block will traverse or cross that highway corridor at some point. We believe we've identified a very good candidate site for that, very close to existing infrastructure that's in place that would provide a very short run of line to attach to the Buell business block. That's part of it. Another part, and St. Louis County is aware of this, is the potential of a new county state aid highway road on the east side of town from Pennsylvania up to Highway 25, which we had met earlier with the county to suggest that would remove heavy vehicle traffic from within the city to outside of the city, and also provide additional access and egress to a potential new residential development that has been talked about a little bit up to the east side of the school. Finally, with the Buell Business Block, we've also talked about a desire to extend a frontage road from Morse Road, which is Pennsylvania Avenue on the east going south, on the way to the cemetery, up to the shortstop. And that would parallel the highway on the north side of the Buell Business Block, allow entrance to that area from Forest Street extension by the shortstop, and then the other side of that would come out on Morris Road. MnDOT is aware of that, and there would be some work needed with a property owner, namely ODC, for easements to traverse some of their owned land there. They are aware of the desire potentially by the city for that, and indicated an interest in coming to the table to talk about it.
Excellent. All right, look forward to construction season again. Council have anything further? All right, moving on. Item E, notice of 2023 Consumer Confidence Reports, Annual Water Quality Report Availability. The US EPA requires community water systems to deliver a Consumer Confidence Report, also known as an Annual Drinking Water Quality Report, to their customers. These reports provide Americans information about their local drinking water quality. This report contains various information, including the lake, river, aquifer, or other source of the drinking water, a brief summary of the risk of contaminations of the local drinking water source, the regulated contaminant found in local drinking water, the potential health effects of any contaminant detected in violation of an EPA health standard, an accounting of the system's actions to restore safe drinking water, an educational statement for vulnerable populations about avoiding, sorry if I butcher this, cryptosporidium. Thank you, sir. Educational information on nitrate, arsenic, or lead in areas where these contaminants may be a concern. Phone numbers of additional sources of information, including the water system. EPA's Safe Drinking Water Hotline number, 1-800-426-4791. The city's 2023 Drinking Water Consumption Confidence Report has now been finalized and is available for public consumption. The 2023 CCR is available on the city website, www.cityofbuell.com for all. Attached for council is a report. Also, I would assume if one inquires, that it can be found at City Hall, correct?
As well as on the web, okay, as well as on the city website.
Excellent.
And if you wish, I could do a quick summary of the findings.
Please do, sir.
Okay, thank you. Monitoring results on this report for regulated substances included lead and copper, and there are two parameter thresholds. One is what EPA's ideal goal is, and the second would be EPA's action level. The ideal goal for both lead and copper is 0. Their action level is different. I'll go, lead's action level is that 90% of the homes should be less than 15 parts per billion. 15 parts per billion. All results, 90% of the results were less than 2 parts per billion. 10 homes were sampled, 0 had high levels. For copper, the action level is that 90% of the homes should have levels less than 1.3 parts per million. Buell's was 90% were less than 0.17 parts per million. 0 out of the 10 households showed high levels. The next major set of parameters is for inorganic and organic constituents, primarily in the form of nitrate. EPA's ideal goal is 10 parts per million. Their action limit is 10.4 parts per million. with a .22, or Buell's was the highest of .22 parts per million, and with a range of results from .07 to .22 parts per million. And then finally, other substances, which in our case here was for sampling for fluoride levels. EPA's ideal goal is 4 parts per million, and their action limit is also 4 parts per million. The highest result taken in Buell was .63 parts per million, with a range of .52 to .65. So all across the board, good water quality results. Thank you.
Thank you. As we all knew, because we drink it. But it's good to see the numbers on paper. That's such a important resource, and we may, forget that once in a while, but there's a lot of people who do not have that, and I don't know, I myself am very happy we have it here. And it tastes good too. It really does. All right, excellent. Passed with flying colors. Anything further?
No, sir.
Thank you. All right, moving on. Item F, another very important topic. Reminder of 2024 election candidacy filing period. As we are all aware, 2024 is an election year, including the election cycles for the presidency of the United States, as well as many other elected offices and positions, including local, school district, county, state, and national seats. In Buell, there will be 2 city council seats and 1 mayoral seat on the ballot for 2024. The municipal general election shall be held on the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November, or November 5th, 2024. The primary election will be held on Tuesday, August 13th, 2024. There will be a local municipal primary election conducted at the same time. The filing period for candidacy for a Buell municipal office, apologies again everybody, I'm tired today. The filing period for candidacy for Buell, both councilor and mayor, will open on Tuesday, May 21st, 2024, and will remain open for a 2-week period and will close at 5 p.m. on Tuesday, June 4th. Anyone interested in filing for municipal public office will need to obtain an affidavit of candidacy from City Hall during regular City Hall business hours, Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. to 4 p.m., Friday, 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. Complete and file this with the city clerk prior to the expiration of the filing period. Just to add, I believe it costs $1 to make that filing. $2? Okay, so there's a very minimal fee. Any questions should be directed to city staff during normal business hours. Just to touch back on information here, we have 2 city council seats that will be up for election, and of course the mayor's seat. Filing period is from Tuesday, May 21st to Tuesday, June 4th.
And just to clarify, then on June 4th, City Hall will be open an extra hour?
I will be here.
Okay.
Exciting. And I would just like to encourage anybody and everybody to get involved. These positions aren't something that one person should hold for a long period of time. I believe everybody should be involved in it. Just like being called for jury duty, it's your duty to participate in the community, and I really feel strongly that everybody should get a shot at it. We may not have time for everybody to sit here, but everybody in the community should be involved. So if you're able, if you're willing, please file and let the people decide. Council have any words of encouragement? Which two seats are up?
Mike's
And
and.
mine.
Okay. And of course, mayor's position is available.
Okay.
Excellent.
The bookends are here for 2 more years.
Good, hold it together. And it's, for anybody out there who's watching the video, it's, I don't know, if you're hesitant on it, or if you're concerned, you're worried about things, if I can do it, anybody can. I stepped into this and learned as I went, and I can honestly tell you from sitting here, it has been an awesome experience. I've learned so many things, I've met so many people, I've been able to serve my community, and that feels good. It really does. So if you're interested at all, I mean, reach out if you have questions. I'm here, council's here, staff's here, anybody, just ask. Great way to serve your community. All right, anything further? Nothing more, let's move on. Do we have any other business?
I have none.
No? Council?
Have we found any grants or looked at any grants for our comprehensive plan? So we can add that back to our budget next year with a little bit of help?
Yes, I have no final information on any of that, but we are pursuing funding which would cover comprehensive planning.
Some of it at least. Yeah, I kind of heard it was possibly out there, but where we were with it, if we jumped in on it or not, or.
We have been monitoring it, we've jumped into a degree. Thank you for the reminder. I was not aware of any set date yet for application or end of period.
Yeah.
I will recheck.
Yeah, just because we passed on it last budget season, and I think that's something that we really have to get put together. I don't know if we can pass again on it. We need to our direction where we're going, so. That's all I had.
Any other business? Moving on.
Oh,
Councilors' comments.
we had the gardening event on Sunday at the Buell Curling Club. It was well attended. It was a little bit chilly, but it was a fun time. They talked about gardening, and we planted some tomatoes and peppers. Was that what it was?
Sweet peppers and beefsteak tomatoes.
Yeah, and learned a lot, or I did anyways, about like different kind of seeds and like what kind of seeds that would reproduce so that we can reproduce. It was a good time.
Heirloom seeds.
Yeah, that's see, I didn't know that.
It's funny, one would assume any seed you buy would grow a plant that would reproduce, but they're engineered not to.
Right, yeah, which is, kind of crazy that's
It
how
is.
it was. So, yeah, it was a good time. The next event will be May 19th. It's actually, so May is Asian Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And so for May 19th, it's 2 to 4, we're going to be making lumpias and wontons.
Oh, where's that at?
They'll be at the senior center.
What kind of wontons?
Cream cheese.
Yum.
Yes.
How fun is that?
Excellent.
Yeah.
There was a heater down there.
Well, I didn't know how to turn it on. So I was like,
You
oh,
didn't
it's fine.
either?
I have no idea where that turns out.
You could have called.
I figured it would be warm enough. Like I thought I kept the doors open. I thought it would be like it would, because it was so nice out. It was gorgeous out, but yeah, it was a little bit chilly. We all survived though.
Barely.
Yeah, we sit down there all winter just freezing because there's no heater.
Well, I knew there must have been heat, but I didn't know where to turn it on or turn it up or whatever. So it's like, whatever. Shouldn't be too long. It ended up being like a little longer. Than
Yeah,
but-
I didn't think it was going to be longer, and then they even went longer than expected. But there was like a middle where we were eating, so.
It was fun.
Mr. Towner.
Nothing from me, but the rec
Nothing?
board has
Oh.
their spring park cleanup Sunday, May 5th. I think I mentioned this at the last meeting, but this will be
May 5th?
the last meeting before the event. I can't remember if I mentioned it.
You
I'm doing it
did,
now.
you did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sunday, May 5th, we'll meet at the park at 1 p.m. We've got garbage bags and gloves for everyone, but we'll cover the park, the disc golf course, the beach, and the campground. And maybe a little bit more depending on how many people there are and time.
Sunday, May 5th at what time?
At 1 p.m. we'll meet at the park.
1 p.m.
And then we,
I have to get this to my wife so
and
I
cover a
don't
few
forget.
areas at once.
Alright. Excellent.
Hopefully we get to it before the lawnmower.
Yeah.
Most of the area is usually covered by the public works guys before we even get to it, so.
Nah, I don't, we went pretty deep to places where they didn't go.
Yeah.
That's okay.
And that, I
Excellent.
think, is it.
Alright. That leaves mayor's comments. Congratulations, Buell. It sounds like we secured $3 million for our town. Thank you, Mr. Jeffries, for your efforts. Everybody else involved. That's wonderful. When that application went out, I had little hopes going to the federal government being a small community like this, but it shows that, you know, you have to try, and it worked. So, great work, everybody. Congratulations, Buell. Another success for our community. As far as election stuff goes, I wanted to touch base on this, and being we talked about it, this is probably the correct time. I will not be filing for mayor again. My family is moving on to the next chapter in our lives, and that includes us moving outside of town. Therefore, I won't be eligible. That being said, that opens even more opportunity for someone in the community to hold the position, to get involved. And like I said earlier, it's been an amazing experience, one I'll never forget, and serving my community is really important to me. So thank you, everybody, for the opportunity. We have a long ways to go yet this year, lots of things to do, and I just want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you, council, everybody. But I wanted to make that known prior to the filing period so that we, as a community, know that. I don't want to leave this town hanging. I love this town. So let it be known, the seat will be available. With that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
A motion.
Thank you. Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Anything further, council? Nothing more. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Meeting adjourned, 7:28.